We've referenced delegation a few times already in this course because it really keeps coming up over and over again as the answer to problems that we've uncovered. Now, what we're going to do here is begin to make it very concrete. We're going to cover what to delegate first, and then also how to hand things off without losing the quality. And also the kind of the mindset shift that you're going to have to put into place in order to make it stick, rather than having a boomerang coming back to you within a month. So the mindset shift really underneath that underpins this is critical. Now, a lot of founders, what they do is they resist delegating because at the moment, in that moment, it's genuinely is faster to do just the task themselves. Now, that's true the first time. Might be true the second time, but it's really going to be true the 10th time. Now, the real question isn't who's fastest today. It's really what's fastest over the next 6 months. And teaching someone properly once, even though it costs you time up front, is almost always better than doing it yourself indefinitely. What you're doing now is systemizing. Now, where do we start? Well, let's go back to the 3-question filter that we had in an earlier module. Anything that's failed all 3 questions is a very strong first candidate. And within that list, we have to prioritize whatever's high frequency and low judgment first. The recurring admin, let's say, or the repeatable operational tasks. Because you'll get the return on your delegation effort fastest from those buckets. And save the trickier ones, the more judgment-heavy type of delegation for once you and whoever you're delegating to have built up some trust doing the easier things well. So work on the easier stuff first in terms of delegating. Now, the single biggest reason why delegation fails isn't the person that you've necessarily delegated to. It's that really nothing was ever written down. So before we hand something off, let's capture a simple standard operating procedure, or SOP. So what's the task? Why does it matter? Roughly, how are we doing it? And critically, what is a good outcome look like versus a poor one? Now, it doesn't have to be a polished manual, right? It's a rough document or even a short screen recording, which is enough to get us started. And the point really isn't about perfection over here. It's just that the knowledge now lives somewhere other than inside your head. Now, when you actually hand something off, let's be very clear about what it is that the outcome that you want. It's not just the task steps. It's let's make sure clients get the same day acknowledgement rather than just reply to these emails. So outcome-based. And then let's agree on a few defined checkpoints rather than hovering constantly, which really then defeats, of course, the whole purpose and signals that you don't actually trust the handoff. Short check-in after the first attempt, and then a lighter one a couple of weeks later is usually enough really to catch problems clearly without micromanaging them. Now, 2 things to watch out for. First is delegating a task, but quietly keeping every decision right for yourself. Okay, so that's not delegation. Okay, it's just supervising. It's just supervised typing, basically, and it doesn't free up any real time for yourself. And then the other one is taking the task back the first time it's done imperfectly, rather than treating that as a normal part of the learning curve. So if you take it back too early, what you're doing is you're training your team to expect that actually hard work eventually returns to you anyway. And with that kills basically the future delegation before it even begins. Now, on our business model canvas, delegation is really about distributing or redistributing the key resources. And in some cases, also building out key partnerships. Okay, whether that's hiring or developing your existing team or bringing outside help for specific functions. So thinking of it this way really keeps delegation from feeling like an admission that you can't cope, and it reframes it as a normal resourcing decision. And that's exactly the kind that you'd make for any other part of your business. Okay, so to summarize, what we're doing is shifting from faster by doing it myself to faster by teaching it once. And we start with high frequency, low judgment tasks. We write a simple standard operating procedure and then check in at defined points rather than hovering. So now we have all the pieces of the system: the audit, the prioritization, designing the week, protecting it, and delegating what doesn't belong to you. The last question we have is how you make all of this actually last. How do you make it stick? And that's what's coming up next.